A man tries to pick up a phone call, and as soon as he raises the phone, the magnetic field from the MRI machine snatches it away from him, hitting the control panel, which instantly triggers the manual override, making the machine enter Tesla's strength levels meant for research purposes only. As the machine gets more intense, it starts attracting magnetic substances towards it. A guy's piercings were taken forcefully from his body, causing him immense pain. And next, a wheelchair gets pulled in, making that guy pushed into the machine. The other guy, who was struggling with an allergy reaction, crawls over to get the EpiPen from the dead guy's hand and uses it. A nurse outside the MRI room notices an intense magnetic field and opens the door. At that time, a broken spring from the vending machine set loose and unalived the guy. Upon arrival, Paul takes off Iris' blindfold, stunning her as the Skyview wasn't intended to be opened yet. They make their way towards the entrance, and a security guard rebukes a little boy, telling him not to steal coins from the fountain, as it is bad luck. The little boy apologizes and hurriedly leaves. Paul and Iris get their tickets and make their way towards the elevator, where other guests are waiting to be taken to the very top of the 494-foot tower. Inside, their guide tells them things about the Skyview Tower and makes it known to them that the Skyview Hotel was completed 5 months ahead of schedule. This revelation makes Iris feel uneasy as she doesn't know if it is a good or bad thing. Soon, the guests get to the top of the tower, and Paul and Iris get off the elevator. The couple is denied their reservation and asked to step aside. Paul and Iris do not make too much fuss about it, and they walk towards the edge of the glass covering of the restaurant's bar, admiring the view. Iris requests champagne, which Paul swiftly goes to get, and when he returns, Iris excuses herself to go to the ladies' room. Iris, standing in a corner, is noticed by a woman who came to check on her son, and instantly realizes that she is pregnant. Iris tells the woman that she hasn't told her boyfriend about the pregnancy yet, and she replies to Iris, asking her if her boyfriend loves her. Iris responds, letting her know that Paul loves her. She tells Iris that Paul wouldn't let go if he truly loves her. A few moments later, Paul comes looking for Iris and asks her if she is okay. They step outside the restaurant to get some fresh air, and there we see the little boy scolded earlier not to take coins from the fountain, playing with some pennies. A guard walks up to him and tells him not to throw them, as it could kill someone. The silly boy ignores and does it anyway, throwing the coin, which is blown back by the air and straight through the air vent, where it gets stuck in the air conditioning system, setting in motion the disaster that is about to occur. While still outside the tower, receiving some air, Paul proposes to Iris, who is elated, and in the process, lets Paul know about her pregnancy. Hearing this, Paul is overjoyed and tells her they will be starting a family. Iris accepts Paul's proposal, and they head back inside the tower to celebrate. Elsewhere, inside the restaurant, the penny the little boy earlier tossed gets free from the fan in the air conditioning and hits a gas valve, releasing the gas, which makes its way towards the guests above. Iris and Paul dance on the glass floor of the tower, and soon enough, due to a combination of factors, the glass floor shatters, hurling the guests to their deaths. The worst happened 494 feet above the ground. After the stairs shatter as well due to reduced structural integrity, the little boy, who is partly responsible for the nightmarish situation they all find themselves in, luckily, doesn't fall through like the other guests and turns back into the tower, finding another way out of the building. Seeing what had just occurred, the waitress who had initially directed the guests towards the stairs tells Iris to head to the elevator. With a small space and many guests to fit in, the guests all scramble, trying to fit themselves into the little elevator. Iris is pushed back by a man who tries to get in but gets stuck as the elevator closes on him, crushing him in the process, to Iris' horror. Iris gets up immediately, and runs towards the side of the tower that isn't burning. As soon as Iris sees the tower bending in half, she quickly grabs onto something and makes her way toward the straight side. Most of the guests get stranded on the side of the tower that bent downwards, and with a big piano dangling above, it comes crashing down on them, breaking the glass and sending them to their deaths. The little boy, partly responsible for the disaster, makes it out of the building but gets squashed by the falling piano. Back at the top of the tower's restaurant, with Iris and just a little boy left, they leap onto the support of the structure as the rest of the tower crashes. Iris' finger with her engagement ring on it, stuck between iron bars, is the only thing preventing her and the little boy from plunging to their deaths. With too much weight resting on her finger, the flesh gets ripped off, and Iris and the little boy fall to their deaths, and in that very moment, Stefani wakes up from her daydream in class. Later that night, Stefani wakes up, screaming from the same recurring dream. Stefani tells her roommate about her dreams of Iris, who happens to be her grandmother. She advises Stefani to go home and ask about her grandmother, hoping it will stop the dreams. Stefani takes the advice and heads home from college. Sometime soon, Stefani arrives at her parents' place and is met by her father. She asks about her mother's old stuff as she believes it contains information that can help in her search. She tells her dad that she needs to find her grandmother, Iris. As she spoke to him, Charlie, her brother, came down and she offered to drive him to their cousin's place. Before leaving, Iris's dad tells her not to bring up Iris to her uncle, Howard. On their way there, Stefani shares with Charlie that she is on academic probation as a result of not being able to sleep and constantly having nightmares about Iris. She makes it known to Charlie that if she doesn't get her grades up, she is going to lose her scholarship. Soon enough, they arrive at their cousin's place. Iris realizes that there is a lot she doesn't know about her little brother's life as he talks to their cousins and feels left out. She heads inside the house, where she sees Aunt Brenda and embraces her. Iris asks about Uncle Howard from Brenda, and Brenda goes to get him. When Howard comes inside, Stefani wastes no time in asking about his mother, Iris, whom Howard is reluctant to speak about. Stefani tells her aunt and uncle that she is having a recurring nightmare and dreaming about a real place, the Skyview restaurant. When they hear this, their faces tell Stefani everything, as she knows that they both know about the place. Stefani tries to get them to tell her, but to no avail. Howard tells Stefani many reasons why Iris is bad news, but none of that gets to her, and she asks about the letter that Howard mentioned and if he still has them. Howard tells Stefani to stay away from Iris at all costs for her own safety, and walks away. Brenda, seeing that Stefani is insistent, tells her where to find what she seeks inside the house. Some moments later, after securing the letter and Iris's address, Stefani gets on the road and drives to her location. Upon arrival at the gate, Iris doesn't welcome Stefani and initially turns her away until Stefani mentions being her granddaughter to her. Iris tells Stefani to empty her pockets into the safe outside, as she is being careful not to allow anything that can cause her harm into the house. The gate opens to Stefani, and when she approaches the door, Iris tells her to come in slowly. Inside the secure apartment, Iris asks about Darlene. Stefani replies to her that she doesn't know, as she left them when she was 10 years old. Stefani informs Iris that she has been dreaming about the Skyview for 2 months, and when Iris hears this, she lets Iris know that it wasn't just her dream, but it was her own premonition 50 years ago, as she got a glimpse into the future many years ago at the Skyview and saw what death was about to do. In the next scene, as Iris recounts what happened on that day, we see Iris being jolted back to reality from her premonition, and seeing some of the events she saw playing out already. As Paul was about to propose to her, Iris makes Paul understand how urgent and dire the situation was, and they quickly go into the restaurant. Iris announces to everyone to get off the glass dance floor as it is about to break, and by doing so, saves a lot of lives on that day, lives that were never meant to be saved. Back in the present, Iris tells Stefani that she stopped the disaster, but death doesn't like it when its plans are messed with. Iris makes it known to Stefani that over the years, all those who were saved on that day died, one after the other, including Paul. Iris informs her granddaughter that over the years, she taught herself how to see death coming and anticipate every move. Iris makes it known to Stefani that she was diagnosed with cancer 2 months before that time, the same period Stefani's dreams started, making Iris believe it is all connected. Iris brings out her book, where she has everything written out, a survival guideline, showing possible ways of dying and how to avoid them. Iris tells her that there is a lot to learn and that Stefani has to stay behind. Stefani tells her that she cannot stay behind, and as Iris continues talking, mentioning that she hasn't stepped foot outside the house in 20 years, amongst many other things, it begins to scare her. She stands to leave, telling Iris that her coming over has been a mistake. Stefani walks out of the house, and Iris, seeing that her granddaughter doesn't believe her, steps outside the house for the first time in many years to prove it to her. She runs towards Stefani to give her the book, telling her that it is a lifeline that can save the family, before telling her to step back and watch what happens. Moments after making the statement, Iris is struck and dies from one of the many ways she had described in her book. After Iris' death, she is buried, and Darlene, who has been absent from her children's lives, shows up for the first time in many years at the funeral. Stefani, not interested in seeing her mother, leaves the cemetery, telling her brother that if Darlene shows up at the barbecue party taking place at her uncle's house, she will not be coming. When Stefani gets to her father's place, she picks up Iris' book and goes through it, and there she sees the multiple ways in which death can occur, including one at the barbecue party. Iris, seeing the danger her family is in, hurriedly gets into her vehicle and heads over to Howard's house. At Howard's house, the party is in play. Bobby, being clumsy, breaks a glass cup, with one of the fragments getting into the ice, meant for drinks. Darlene shows up, offering cookies to them, which Bobby, one of Howard's children, can't take, due to being allergic to the peanut butter she made it with. Later on, While Charlie and Bobby are bouncing on the trampoline outside, Howard is asked to join them, and just before he gets on the platform, Darlene asks them to stop as she spots a rake just beneath it. She removes the danger, and everything goes back to normal, or so they thought. Howard's wife hits a beer bottle by accident, which goes on to trigger an inflatable hose that shakes the gardening tools, including the rake where Darlene put it. This movement causes the rake to fall, hit the lawnmower, and make it move forward. By the time Stefani arrives, she is there just in time to witness the horror that she can't stop. Howard gets his foot pierced by one of the glass fragments from the cup Bobby broke earlier, and as he stumbles, he falls. The now active lawnmower rolls over Howard, with its blade blending his face and killing him brutally. After Howard's burial, the whole family gathers in the living room, and there, Stefani explains everything, letting them know about how it's connected to them. She tells them about how the survivors have all died over the years in some weird way, and because it took a long time for death to get to them all, the victims went on to have families that shouldn't have existed, and death, which took those families, is coming to erase theirs too. Stefani makes it known that Marty, who is her father, and her aunt Brenda, are safe because they are not part of Iris' bloodline. They do not believe her, especially her father, shutting her down, and they go about their lives. Having told them that death will come for them, from the oldest to the youngest, before moving on to another branch of the family, her mother's, she worries about Eric, Howard's first child. Later on, Eric, still grieving the loss of his father, goes back to work as a tattoo artist, and while cleaning up and playing loud music, disaster strikes. The whole shop catches on fire, and Eric, only escaping death by a stroke of luck, shows up the next day to worried looks on Stefani's face, who was already on her way with Charlie to the tattoo shop to check on him after hearing that the shop had been burnt the previous night. Stefani can't understand what seems to be happening, as she believes Eric should be dead, following the order. Stefani tries to make Eric avoid danger outside the house as they head back in, but Eric, being unreasonable, doesn't listen. Moments later, Julia steps out and starts her morning run. Julia hasn't gone far when she is struck by a soccer ball being played by kids nearby, causing her to stumble and fall into a trash container, which, coincidentally, a garbage truck passing by from house to house picks up, dumping the contents, which includes Julia, into the truck. Seeing the horror about to unfold before their very eyes, Eric, Stefani, and Charlie race after the truck in an attempt to stop it and let the driver know that Julia is in the back. The driver, who has headphones on, doesn't hear them and only stops when Eric and Charlie come in front of the truck. By then, it was too late as the garbage truck crushed the contents in the back to compress them, taking Julia along with it, delivering a swift and horrible death to her. Eventually, the family reconvenes again, and this time they believe Stefani's claims that death is coming for them. Brenda makes a shocking revelation to them, letting them know that Eric isn't Howard's son. Eric hears this and storms out in annoyance after his mom tells him who his real father is. At that moment, Stefani understood she didn't get the order wrong and knew why Julia died next, putting Bobby next in line on the death list. Stefani makes it known that a certain boy, who was seen with the woman who checked up on Iris at the Skyview Tower, survived and is still alive. Darlene and the kids set out to visit the man called JB, the only other survivor left from the Skyview Tower, after Iris' death at Hope River Hospital, where he worked, in a bid to see how the problem affecting them can be stopped. On their way to JB, Darlene lets Iris know why she left, as she didn't want her to have the life she had growing up, being scared and looking out for death everywhere. When they get to the hospital and meet with William John Bludworth, who is better known as JB by his friends, he isn't surprised to see them, as he had been expecting them. He asks which of them is next, and after identifying it as Bobby, JB tells them about how he came to the Skyview Tower with his mom, who came to work on that very day of the incident, and how Iris saved his life. JB makes it known that he reconnected with Iris years later, even helping her fortify her cabin, where she had hidden for decades. JB tells the group about the woman who beat death, and lets them know that it happened because the woman died, with her heart stopping, but her doctor was able to resuscitate her, breaking the cycle. Stefani asks JB why Iris didn't try such, but he replies, letting her know that it is a risky process that can leave things messy. JB tells the group that, other than dying momentarily, the only other way to survive is to kill a person and take whatever time the person has left. Before leaving them, JB tells them that they cannot escape death and that after they are all dead, death will come for him too. Hearing all that JB has said, Eric and Bobby slip away from the group to carry out a plan in hopes of breaking the cycle. Knowing they do not have it in them to kill a person, Eric takes Bobby to a snack vending machine, gets a snack that contains peanuts inside it, and goes into a room where they will enact their plan. They step into a room used for magnetic resonance imaging, where Eric tells Bobby to wait behind as he goes to grab a wheelchair that would be needed later on. As Eric steps out, the loud bang on the door makes a paperclip board fall onto the controls of the MRI device, activating it in the process. While waiting for Eric to return, Bobby sees the machine turning on, but doesn't think too much of it. Elsewhere, Stefani, Darlene, and Charlie set out to look for the duo as they know what they are about to do. When Eric returns to the MRI room with the wheelchair, he makes Bobby sit on it before consuming the peanut-containing snack. Eric takes Bobby's EpiPen, which is crucial for survival after eating a peanut, as they need him to flatline to break the chain. Bobby consumes the peanut snack, and soon, he begins to feel the effect and tries to get the EpiPen, but Eric reminds him of why they are doing it. Just then, the MRI machine, which wasn't set to a specific level, continued to increase in its Tesla strength till it got to a level meant for research purposes only, requiring manual override to proceed. Moments later, Bobby tries to pick up Charlie's call, and as soon as he raises the phone, the magnetic field from the MRI snatches it away from him, hitting the control panel, which instantly triggers the manual override, making the machine enter Tesla strength levels meant for research purposes only. The MRI machine starts attracting magnetic substances towards it as it gets more intense. Eric's rings were taken forcefully from his body, and next, the wheelchair that Bobby was no longer sitting on was taken as well. Standing in front of the wheelchair, Eric gets sucked into the machine and gets destroyed as the wheelchair pierces through his body. After crawling over to get the EpiPen from Eric's dead hand and using it, Bobby stands up, only to get killed by the spring which dispensed his snack, as the vending machine stood right outside the MRI room's door, which a nurse, noticing the intense magnetic field from her office, comes to open. Shortly after Eric, who was collateral damage, and Bobby's death, Stefani, Darlene, and Charlie head towards Iris' cabin as they believe it to be the only safe place for them. Knowing her children can't hide forever, Darlene chooses to be the one staying in the cabin, but Stefani decides to come along, as she believes Death would not let Darlene get there without her help. When the trio arrives at Iris' cabin, they see Death about to make its move and drive forcefully through the gate. As soon as they get into the compound, Stefani's seatbelt gets stuck. She tells Charlie and her mom to get down from the vehicle and head into the cabin. A spark outside gets into the cabin, igniting the gas. Darlene sees it in time and closes the door. The resulting blast sends her and Charlie flying, with Charlie being trapped and pinned down by debris, and Stefani facing a life-or-death situation as the bus she is in takes a tumble into the pool of water, gets partially submerged, making her need to get loose from her seatbelt to avoid drowning. Moments after, Darlene gets up to free Charlie. She tells him to go help his sister, and that she will stay alive long enough. Before Charlie turns to go help Stefani, Darlene gets killed to Charlie's horror. Charlie frees Stefani, but not before she goes unconscious. Charlie manages to bring her back, and they both think that they have broken the cycle of death by doing so. After the event of Darlene's death, they moved on from the incident. Charlie graduates from high school and goes to Jenny's house to meet with her. There, Stefani's unconsciousness is brought up, and Dr. Reddick, Jenny's dad, tells her that she was only unconscious but didn't die, since her heart did not stop. This revelation startles Charlie and Stefani as they know that they are in big trouble. Afar off, Stefani hears a derailed train, and as soon as she looks back, she sees it heading their way. Stefani and Charlie run until the train comes to a halt. They stood in front of the train, and before they could run again, some of the logs of wood being carried by the train fell from a compartment on them, killing them instantly. In the end, Iris' family's effort to stay alive leads to a dead end, as death completes its cycle by taking them all. Do you think the others would have stayed alive if Bobby had been able to successfully trick Death with the plan he and Eric set out to implement? Let me know in the comments. Until next time, guys. Peace out.